Ever since they left you, regret has been eating them up. You remember how quiet it got after they left? Not just around you, but inside you. There was no more explaining. No more trying to fix things. No more waiting for them to act. No more waiting for them to act differently. At first, it didn't feel like peace. It felt like something had been taken. Like you were left with questions that never got answers. You went over everything slowly. You replayed the moments where things started to change, the conversations that didn't make sense, and the way they pulled away without fully explaining why. You tried to understand it in a way that would give you closure. But the more you thought about it, the more you realized how much you had been carrying on your own. You didn't just lose them. You lost the version of yourself that kept trying to make things work. Even when it was one-sided. You started to see how much effort you had been putting in, how much patience you had shown, and how often you ignored your own feelings just to keep the connection from breaking. That realization did not come all at once. It built slowly, in moments where you chose not to reach out, in times where you stopped checking for their response, and in the silence that forced you to sit with everything you had been avoiding. That silence became clearer over time, and that is when something shifted. You stopped chasing explanations that were never going to come the way you wanted. You stopped blaming yourself for things that were not yours to carry. You allowed yourself to step back without needing their validation to move forward. At first, they didn't feel it. They left with a sense of control, thinking they had made the final decision, believing that they understood how things would unfold after that. They expected you to react in a way that would keep them in a position of importance. But your response was different. You didn't go after them the way they thought you would. You didn't create the same emotional reaction they were used to. You became still, and that stillness created a space they were not prepared for. Now that distance is doing something they didn't expect. Without your presence, without your effort, and without your energy, they are left with everything they are avoided. They are left with everything they avoided. The clarity you gain the clarity you gain is the same clarity they are slowly facing. But without the comfort they once had, that is where the regret begins. It doesn't come from what you said. It came from what they now see without distraction. They can recognize what they had, how they handled it, and what they chose to work away from. That understanding doesn't happen instantly, but once it starts, it doesn't go away. They may not say it, they may not show it clearly, but the absence of you is revealing something they can no longer ignore. And now they have to sit with it. They have to sit with it.